For a huge number of years, prepackaged games have been a wellspring of diversion for individuals over the world. Proof of tabletop games predates the advancement of composing, and in numerous societies they have even come to have a strict essentialness. What is especially striking about some of these games is the means by which their unique morals and ethics have been stripped by enormous business acknowledging they could make a brisk expel them. Here are 10 of the most significant table games from antiquated and current history. 10. Taffle. Taffle was a famous game among the Vikings. One player plans to get his lord from the focal point of the board to the edges, while different does all that he can to catch him. Taffle spread across Europe, simply like Viking qualities, and turned into the chess of its day. Aristocrats would flaunt their ability on the board. Taffle was the motivation for the game Thud, in view of Terry Pratchett's Discworld arrangement. There is as yet an intermittent world championship, however the way that these occur on an island with a populace of 86 makes me question the amount of a world title it truly is. A touch all the more ravaging might be altogether. 9. The Landlords Game. The Landlords Game was designed in 1903 by Maryland entertainer Lizzie Magie. The game board comprised of a square track, with a column of properties around the external that players could purchase. The game load-up had 4 railways, 2 utilities, a prison, and a corner named Work Upon Mother Earth Produces Wages, which earned players $100 each time they passed it. This should all solid very recognizable. The truth of the matter is, the Landlord's Game was protected 30 years before Charles Darrow designed Monopoly and offered it to Parker Brothers. The Landlord's Game, later known as Prosperity, was planned to show the social bad form made via land possession and lease destitution. It additionally offered an answer for this unfairness. Players could pick to have lease from properties they claimed paid into a mutual pot, which would then be shared out, improving things for everybody. The incredible incongruity of the story is that when the thought was taken by Darrow, the success for all ideal was eliminated totally, and the game that proceeded to be played by more than 1 billion individuals wound up urging them to make their adversaries bankrupt. 8. Vaikuntapaali. The 16th century Indian round of vaikuntapaali, otherwise called Leela, was an apparatus for showing ethical quality and otherworldliness. It was the game that proceeded to be dispatched as Chutes and Ladders in America, and Snakes and Ladders somewhere else. In the first form, the moving of a stepping stool should show players the estimation of good deeds in the quest for edification. The chutes or snakes were intended to show that intentions, for example, robbery and murder, would carry profound mischief to the sinner. The Victorians changed the ethical lessons when they got the game to England the late 19th century. Despite the fact that in the first one could accomplish a condition of everlasting nirvana, the British affection for modest representation of the truth implied that in the Western variant, one just accomplished achievement. By the time Milton Bradley acquired it to America in 1943, all anybody truly needed was a touch of interruption, something probably been burdening individuals' brains in the mid-1940s, thus the game became what it remains today. A fundamental rush to the completion. 7. Nine Men's Morris. An antecedent to tic-tac-toe, Nine Men's Morris is a game where counters are set on a matrix with the point of making lines of 3. When all the pieces are down, they can be moved 1 space for each move. At whatever point a player frames a line of 3, he can eliminate one of his rival's pieces from the board. The primary player down to 2 pieces loses. The effortlessness of the game board implied that individuals over the world could make their own absent a lot of issue. Sheets dating as far back as 1440 B.C. have been discovered cut into steps and shakes in Sri Lanka, Bronze Age Ireland, antiquated Troy, and the southwestern United States. Note to Mormons: this isn't archaeological proof on the side of the Book of Mormon. Not content with scarring the scene alone, it appears to be that fans through history cut the board into seats, dividers, and even gravestones across England. For all the worry over World of Warcraft, we'll realize PC game dependence has become genuinely genuine when individuals begin vandalizing their closest memorial park for a handy solution. 6. The Mansion of Happiness. At the point when Parker Brothers republished The Mansion of Happiness, an instructive moral and entertaining amusement in 1894, they asserted that it had been the primary table game distributed in the U.S. route in 1843. The game was in reality likely the subsequent game distributed in the U.S. However, it is as yet essential as a replacement to the Rush to Eternity topic regular in numerous more seasoned strict games. The game fashioners needed to utilize details to move beyond the then vile implications of betting. A six-sided kick the bucket is satanic, a six-sided spinner not really. The board comprised of an essential roll and move track immersed with more puritanism than should legitimately fit on a bit of cardboard. Sabbath breakers are sent to the whipping post, whips sold independently, and the bad habit of idleness will land you in poverty. The game likewise incorporates what is maybe the most noticeably terrible guideline ever recommended throughout the entire existence of prepackaged games, with a player at times needed to hold up till his go comes to turn again, and not consider joy, substantially less participate in it. Luckily, don't participate in satisfaction is a standard that didn't generally get on. 5. Senet. Senet is the most established tabletop game known to exist. Sets have been found in internment chambers from as far back as 3500 B.C. Remembering for Tutankhamun's burial place. Game sheets were 3 squares wide and 10 squares in length, and sets commonly had 5 to 7 pieces for every player. Despite the fact that the first standards have been lost, there is general agreement that the point is to race one's pieces no matter how you look at it, utilizing toss sticks as a comparable for dice. In spite of the fact that it started as a common type of amusement, Senet before long took on a strict centrality for the Egyptians. The squares were set apart with different images speaking to the divine beings and different parts of existence in the wake of death. At the point when you play present-day tabletop games, as well as can be expected, trust in is amusement. Yet players finishing Senet ceremonially got together with the sun god while still alive, and along these lines guaranteed their endurance of the difficulties of the underworld even before passing on. Handy. 4. Mankayla. Mankayla alludes to a group of games with a similar essential technique for play. Known as tally and catch games, there is some proof to recommend that they might be the most punctual games played, originating before even Senet, yet further check is required. To play the game, all you need is a fix of delicate ground and a small bunch of seeds or rocks. Columns of openings are burrowed close by each other, and players appropriate counters each in turn in a way round the board. There are various objectives. Yet the way to triumph in each rendition is essentially to tally truly fast. Mankayla was generally secret in Europe and America until moderately as of late. A report from the Smithsonian Institute portrayed it as the public round of Africa. 3. Chaupat. The Indian round of chaupat and the intently related game pachisi are the first cross and hover games, of which the most popular model in the West is the much streamlined Ludo. Players expect to race their pieces around a board, with moves controlled by a toss of cowrie shells. An adversary's pieces can be caught via arriving on a similar square, and 2 of a player's pieces on a similar square can converge into a super piece. The Mughal Emperor Akbar I played the game on a monster board, utilizing slave young ladies rather than pieces. How 2 of these pieces converged into a super piece is indistinct, and a Google look for slave young lady pieces returns results about, will we say, different things. 2. Chaturanga. Chaturanga is a game that has the right to be known, if simply because of its colossal inheritance. Chess. There are hardly any games as generally known as chess. Chess turned into an augmentation of the Cold War in 1972. It has expelled all competitors in Europe for the title Round of Kings, and the Western game isn't the only one. The Chinese have Xiangqi, the Japanese play shogi, and there are counterparts in Korea, Thailand, and India. Chess is now and again utilized as a relationship forever itself, and in the well-known psyche it is an image of genius. Chaturanga, which dates from as far back as the 7th century A.D., is the normal progenitor of the apparent multitude of current forms of chess. The board and most pieces are the equivalent, however the specific standards are tragically overlooked. However, it appears to be that the makers of chaturanga hit upon the equation that would proceed to spread the game all through the world. The unadulterated clash of aptitude. The practically endless multifaceted nature. The degree for magnificence. Furthermore, the likeness to quite a bit of reality. 1. The Royal Game of Or. The Royal Game of Or is the most established realized table game for which the first standards endure. The most seasoned sets, found in Iraq during the 1920s, date to around 2600 B.C. The Royal Game of Or is a race game, much like senet, in which one tosses dice to move one's pawns towards the goal. The game had been thought long dead, supplanted by backgammon 2000 years prior, until game aficionado Irving Finkel, who had wonderfully found the game's principles cut into an antiquated stone tablet, discovered an amazing photo of a game board from present-day India. A modest quantity of investigator work later, Finkel met a resigned teacher who had played what was fundamentally a similar game as a youth, making this the game that has been played for longer than some other throughout the entire existence of the world. You can play it by tapping the connection here. As you play, remember that it has outlived the entirety of the world's most noteworthy realms, and is more seasoned than all the world's significant religions. That is the intensity of tabletop games. Try not to let this one kick the bucket on account of the PlayStation. Hope you enjoyed watching this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe the channel to get notifications about the new videos. Goodbye and see you in new video.